Imagine your grandma, the one who bakes you a cake every Friday. She was the same woman who laced a plum cake with poison and killed her fifth husband. The twist? He survived the first poisoning. He walked out of the hospital, came home, thanked her, and drank the coffee she made him. He was dead within minutes. That was the moment the police realized the giggling grandma wasn't laughing for no reason. Nannie Hazel was born in 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama, on a stretch of dirt where the cotton grew stubborn and the days grew longer. Her father, Jim, believed school was for other people's children. His children worked. From sunrise, Nannie and her 4 siblings hauled water, fed chickens, weeded rows, and swept floors that would be dirty again by nightfall. Her mother, Louisa, was a quiet shadow in the house. The Hazel house ran on chores and silence. At 7 years old, Nannie hitched a ride on a passing train with some other children. She slipped, her head struck the rail. She woke up bleeding, dizzy, changed. The doctor said she would be fine. The headache said otherwise. Years later, after the funerals, she would point to that day as the moment something inside her got knocked loose. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was just a story she liked better than the truth, because the truth started earlier, in the pages of pulp romance magazines. Her father wouldn't pay for schooling, but there were always tattered copies of true romance and heart-to-heart floating around town. Nannie would trade eggs for them. She hid them under her mattress and read them at night with a kerosene lamp. The women in those pages were rescued. The men were tall, flawed but fixable, and they always showed up at the last chapter. Nannie memorized the Lonely Hearts columns in the back. Widower 42 seeks kind woman for companionship. She clipped them out and kept them in a cigar box. She was practicing for a life that didn't exist yet. At 16, she married Charlie Braggs. She had known him 4 months. Charlie was not the man from the magazines. He drank, he disappeared, and when he was home, he let his mother run the house. The mother-in-law had the same brittle cruelty Nannie recognized from her father. Between 1921 and 1927, Nannie had 4 children with Charlie. 2 of them died. They were healthy one day, and then they were not. No doctor could explain it. In 1928, the marriage ended. Charlie took their oldest daughter. Nannie was 23 and already learning how convenient a sudden illness could be. She went back to the magazines. She placed her own ad in a Lonely Hearts column. Frank Harrelson wrote the best letters. He lived in Jacksonville, Florida. He called her "my sweet" and promised he would treat her right. He sent a photograph of himself in a suit. In 1929, she married him. Frank was a mean drunk. He hit her. He took her money. Nannie endured it for 16 years. It was not endurance. It was observation. She watched him. She learned his routines. She waited until the end of World War II, until he came home one night celebrating something. She mixed a secret ingredient into that hidden jar. He was dead in 6 days. The death certificate said food poisoning. The insurance company wrote a check big enough for Nannie to buy a plot of land and a small house near Jacksonville. She smiled in the photograph with the new house keys. Before Frank died, other things happened. Melvina, the daughter Charlie had taken, grew up and had children. In 1943, Melvina left her newborn girl with Grandma Nannie for a few days. The baby died. A few months later, Melvina's 2-year-old son Robert died too. Choked, they said. Nannie was free again, and the magazines were still printing ads. Arlie Lanning answered one in 1952. He liked Nannie's cooking. He did not like the way his chest felt after dinner one night. He died of what the doctor called a heart attack. Nannie played the grieving widow. Richard Morton was next, in Emporia, Kansas. Richard had a wandering eye. Nannie was busy. Her father had died. Her mother fell and broke her hip in 1953 and needed care. Nannie moved in to help. 3 months later, her mother was dead. Sudden. No warning. A few weeks after that, one of Nannie's sisters came to visit. She died too. With her family obligations handled, Nannie turned her attention back to Richard. He developed stomach pains. He died. The doctor wrote gastroenteritis and went to lunch. Samuel Doss was different. He was from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He didn't drink. He didn't hit. His sin was smaller and, to Nannie, worse. He told her she was not allowed to read romance magazines anymore. He said they rotted the brain. He took her magazines and put them in the trash. That was the first mistake. The second was eating the plum cake she baked for him. Samuel spent a month in the hospital. He survived. He came home weak but alive. Nannie made him coffee to celebrate. He finished the cup. He did not finish the day. This time the doctor was younger and suspicious. He had no proof then. Now he had a body and a question. He asked Nannie for permission to do an autopsy. She said yes. She was thinking about 2 life insurance policies she was about to collect. She was not thinking about arsenic. The autopsy found enough arsenic in Samuel Doss to kill a barn. The police arrested Nannie in 1954. They dug up Frank Harrelson, Arlie Lanning, and Richard Morton. They found arsenic. They found rat poison. They found a pattern that stretched 30 years and crossed 5 states. The newspapers counted the bodies. 4 husbands, 2 grandchildren, a mother and a sister. They called her the Giggling Grandma. She laughed when she told detectives how she did it. She laughed when she signed the confession. She laughed when they asked why. She told them she had been looking for the perfect mate, for true romance, like in the magazines. When a man stopped being the hero, she wrote him out of the story. Most of them were drinkers or sick, so nobody looked too hard. Death was always waiting. She just hurried it along. In court, she pled guilty to Samuel's murder. They gave her life. She was sent to the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. She got letters there. Men wrote to her. Some proposed. She still got the Lonely Hearts columns sent to her in prison. She read them, circled names, and smiled. Nannie Doss died of leukemia in 1964 in the prison hospital. The nurses said she was polite. She never stopped smiling. The smile was the last thing people remembered because it was the only thing that never changed. She was a woman who believed the stories she read more than her life. She wanted a rescue, and when rescue didn't come, she made sure there would be another chapter, then another, until the doctor finally turned the page and read the ending she didn't write. Somewhere, a woman was still looking for the perfect last line.